for example, right? I made a post recently saying, hey, how could I improve my reviews, right? One guy gave me basically, yo, I love your reviews. And he went in depth about what he liked about my review.
Mm-hmm. That's
guy
cool.
said, I don't like your, because to be fair, in the question I asked, what don't you like about reviews in general? And if you want to get specific, talk about me. That's more or less what I said.
Mm-hmm.
One person said, my man Flock, and I gotta point him out because one of his OC characters, his original characters, I was reading it in this fan manga, and it's cool that his character was one of my favorite characters in the fan manga, and now we kind of cool. But either way, he said, I don't like rating. I was like, and he explained why. I don't like ratings because I feel like they lose their value over time, and it's very subjective. And I was like, all right, I can understand where you're coming from. There was another person that said, you use too many memes. Now, I've heard this before in my previous review of specifically the Vegito with the black gi.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular review, people was like, all right, you went overkill with the meme. But in this review, these last two reviews that I just put up, I didn't get that same reception. So I know I went overkill with even in my heart, I knew I went kind of overkill with the memes and the black gi Vegito review.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody commented under there and said, nah, don't. I think this shit is funny. I like what he's doing. I say all this to say the fan base could be fickle and they could want different things. And it's one guy that just straight up say, yo, I prefer that you just do the damn review.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much fluff. I'm not sure what it is about YouTube, and it almost made me want to do a whole discussion video on it. I still might do the discussion video on it.
So
he was like, I don't understand what it is about YouTube, but people don't cut to the chase. And I responded, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I think I cut to the chase. And then I said, maybe I don't. In some people's eyes, I was like, relative to other reviewers, I cut to the chase because it's a lot of reviews that be 20 minutes long. And most of my reviews is 8 or 9 minutes long.
Do you think that's something you'd want to work on, or it's something that you're like, deal with it?
Is that something I want to work on? Nah, not really, because I think my reviews are a good length.
Mm.
It's not too long. It's not too short. If you want anything shorter than 8 or 9 minutes, in my opinion, let me go so far as to say 7 minutes, right? Then I think what you should be looking for is a short for a review. You want to see accessories, how well the figure could pose, and that's it. My whole thing is this. I have to keep my own identity, right? Just because you say, just because and this is something to keep in mind. Just because one person says, I don't like the memes or what have you, or cut to the chase. One, I always keep in mind, I have to keep in mind the context of the question that I asked. And two, I have to say, listen, the meme shit is that's part of my personality. That's what, actually, if anything, that's part of what sets me apart. I've seen too many times in cartoons and different media where somebody abandons who they are. Somebody else picks up that same trope and is super successful with it. And I would hate, a part of me would die inside for that to happen to me. I'd rather just stick, because the meme thing is my thing.
Question.
It's part of what makes my reviews unique.
Is there a space for you keeping the long form content how you do, and then trimming like that into a short where it's just like a quick, all right, bam, bam, thank you, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, for the people who just looking for the answer, and then the people who come in there for you watch the long thing?
I mean, possibly, right? I think business wise, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. But I don't necessarily care about those people that just want that wham bam, thank you, man.
Okay. Okay.
I think they're more, in my mind, they're more of an afterthought, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If I get them, I get them. If I don't, I don't. But at the same time, I've also put myself in a position when I said, what I asked specifically, how can I improve my reviews? Because I thought the last 2 reviews I did bombed in terms of, you know, how well they did on YouTube. But at the same time, I did some talking with my good man Cyrus, and he was like, I could see why they bombed. And he was like, yo, he's like, when you think about it, Bomb, who's really asking about these 2 things that you reviewed? I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? You're right. But then I was like, well, I seen some things that did do well. And he's like, well, there's context for those things doing well. Think about it. You revealed the version 1s of the Kong Studio Super Saiyan 3, Goku, and Vegeta, right? But even then, they were still relevant in terms of, hey, people wanted to know about the version 2. And we also know that people, at least in our niche, he was referring to, do not read. And I seen this in real time that people don't read. People just look and they click.
Said, people do not read. I mean, it's true though.
People don't read, and I seen it in real time. I would like to be the, you know, the person that could just disagree and be, and say, nah, you wrong. But no, people do not read. People don't read, and I seen it in real time where the answer could be literally right in front of them, and they'll be like, so what's the link to this? And the answer is literally, if you read the caption, you'd have the answer to your question. So between that, and it was like, all right. And he was like, yo, you know your favorite phrase, Bomb? A day late and $1 short. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And so now, what does this have me do? It had me thinking about being more strategic about when I would drop a review or the things that I do review. Maybe if I'm truly want to be super successful at this and I want to grow the channel exponentially fast, what you need to start doing, Bomb, start reviewing stuff when it first come out. Whether it's within that same week or that same day, start reviewing stuff when it first drops. Because now you're doing it fresh while it's in people's minds. And you have a point of reference for this, Bomb. What's your point of reference? Nate, in 2022, when we went to New York NYCC, New York City Comic Con, I remember I wanted to review Ultimate Gohan from Dragon Ball Superhero because that was one of the figures that had come out recently. Nate said, nah, review this Broly, the Broly exclusive. I was like, I don't know, Nate. I really want to review this Ultimate Gohan. He's like, just review it first. It wasn't like a back and forth like that, but I remember him saying, just review it first. Review it first. Get it out the way. I reviewed it first. And I remember that video in particular just climbing in views, and I couldn't understand why. Like, I was legit just like,
because you caught the wave, basically?
Huh?
Because you caught the wave, basically?
I was the first one to get it on YouTube, Alexis.
My boy!
I had the first review of that Broly on YouTube. And I never forgot that.
Bomb go quick.
I never forgot that, because at that point in time, I had less than, 1,000 subscribers. I might have had less than 500 subscribers. But I remember I was the first one to get that review on YouTube. And because I remember I did the search results. And I remember the second person that was to get on YouTube. It was this person named Rock Chala. And they also review a lot of the same. They review Dragon Ball stuff, but they review the same. They more blanketly review the same company that makes a lot of the official company that makes Dragon Ball stuff. They just review stuff from that company in general. So he reviewed stuff from that company in general, and he got the second review up. And I was like, Oh, that's why that video blew up. I had the only point of reference for people to watch.
So you know what you gotta be now, like? Basically Morgan's from One Piece.
So now I was like, oh, David, what you could do is, even if you're not the first person to have it up on YouTube, be one of the first to have it up on YouTube. And that's going to help the channel grow exponentially, because now it's a bunch of people that just want to see what this figure is about. Not only that, Dave or Bomb, but you've improved so much with making your review.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we go back to the old memes thing, so what? Even with the memes, you still get to the point. Mm. How do I know you get to the point? Because a lot of your reviews is a lot shorter than these other guys. You've looked at your competition. They reviewed the same figure and it's 20 minutes long. Your shit is 8 to 9 minutes long. They shit is 20 minutes long and your shit is 8 to 9 minutes long.
That's pretty good. That is pretty efficient.
Now that could mean.
But then people are impatient too.
You said what?
I said like 10 minutes. I feel like used to be good, right? Especially when people would try to do the 20 minutes like you're saying. And then like even now, right, me, right, as just an average consumer, if I'm looking for a video on something, I'm looking for the 2-minute, 5-minute video. So I feel like people in general have gotten a lot less patient because they just want the answer now. And like you said, like you brought up earlier with shorts probably didn't help it, because I'm telling you, bro, if I'm looking for an informational video and that shit 10 minutes long and there's a 2-minute video on it, brother, I know which one I'm picking.
Right. So now the trip becomes, how can I get you this? In terms of the content game, especially with the Mr. Beast meta, right? How can I get somebody to stay for almost 70% of the video without you clicking off?
What if you do an extended cut and a regular cut? Like maybe not the shorts, but one that's more condensed, and extended cut where, you know, like you just talking, like, you know, your regular videos, and you milk double the views. Now that does come with the cost of some people being like, you know, why you dropping shit twice in a row? But it's like, dude, one is clearly extended cut. So that could be a way. Because now whoever clicks on the extended cut video, they not looking to skip past for the information. They know what they're getting into. Like well, one of the videos you linked brought this up in terms of like YouTube promotions. Like, yeah, you get more views or whatever, but a lot of people that are clicking are curious, and they might not necessarily stick around. So now your retention looks abysmal, so YouTube promotes you less because of it. But if they know what they're getting into, and they know what they want, they have the option to choose.
No, absolutely, I agree. And so what like I said, the meta that I plan to do is simply at least getting it out while it's still relevant. That's going to be the initial goal. Get this review out while it's still relevant. Now, an advantage that I didn't list that I do have is that my YouTube channel has the whole third-party Dragon Ball figure thing on lock. And the way I know this is because I made a burner YouTube account where it's not, you know, it's not tainted by certain search results. You know, YouTube is trying to mold the algorithm for your specific taste. We talked about this earlier. You mentioned it earlier. So now if you just search it on YouTube, I go on YouTube and type in third-party Dragon Ball action figures, and 65 to 70% of the videos are my videos. And it's like, oh, I got this shit on lock. I didn't even know that I had the shit on lock like that.
You really cornered a market that is so specific. has enough people looking for it, and you got your finger on the trigger, I feel like it's almost like a perfect storm, bro.
It is a perfect storm, but I got to capitalize a little bit more on it in terms of the reviews, which is why I was able to put out for the first time in my YouTube career 2 reviews in one day. Now the only thing is these reviews weren't necessarily relevant at this point in time. What I need to do that same thing. Excuse me, to keep it relevant. And all I need to do with that is I just need two videos. 3 would be very nice, but 2 videos to really just go crazy.
Yeah.
50,000 a piece, in terms of view. And I think that's possible with this where I'm at now. Cause remember I mentioned the Broly thing when I was the first one on YouTube to get the Broly review out. And I didn't even know it. I just listened to Nate. I said, Nate was like, just put the review out. Just do it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna just listen to Nate. And that video,
he's a wise man.
That was under 1,000 subscribers. I have over 6,000 now. So I can imagine the numbers that I could do now. And I edit videos better. I think the videos are more entertaining, but also, like I said, I'll never completely dismiss the whole, hey, you use too many memes. But to me, that's bombastic. That's the bombastic brand. So it's either you like it or you don't. And a lot of people, I think it's more like it's like a vocal minority that's saying, hey, I don't like this, versus what you're actually seeing. And what I actually see is that, hey, people are saying, yo, I like this shit. I like this I like this style of video making. Some people are bold enough to say it. Most people I would say aren't. They like the video and they keep it moving. And that's what I like to keep in mind. I was like, all right. I'll pull it back on the memes. Because I remember, like I said, I remember saying, I think I OD'd with the meme. Or what have you. Or the jokes that's not really that funny. Or funny at all. But in these recent reviews, I remember feeling proud that I made them. Because I was like, oh, okay. It's not necessarily funny, but I think it's just different enough from other people's reviews that, hey, somebody could be like, yo, I like this guy. I'm gonna look forward to his reviews again. And that was the basis of the channel to begin with. Reviews. So reviewing something relevant, once again, this is the main idea. Reviewing something relevant on time, I think, is what's gonna help the channel to blow up. And I've described this to people, and I don't think they necessarily completely comprehend or get it or necessarily believe it. But I know for a fact I believe it because I've seen it in real time with the Broly figure. And like I said, I think I make way more better videos than when I first dropped that Broly review. I make way better thumbnails than then. I can only imagine if I dropped that Broly review now and I'm still able to get it first on YouTube. I think it would be amazing. Well, luckily, I have something just as box office coming up. We have the Trunks with the wife beater on when he went back to the future to destroy the androids. People love that look for Trunks, and there's a third-party figure coming out for that. And then we got Kid Buu. Kid Buu is coming out. So those 2 characters are extremely box office. If I could get a review out for both of those characters, I'm golden. And luckily for me, I get paid. I think the play is right now just to Klarna those 2 figures or all versions of those figures. I'm gonna Klarna everything, and then what do you call it? I'll make more than that money back on the review.
Okay.
I think it would pay tremendously to get them out first, or to have a quality review out first with a quality thumbnail and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I looked at my competition, and truthfully, my competition either is just not interested in third party for whatever, or they kind of dabble in it. They, like dipping your toe in it and then like coming out of it, or they just review a bunch of different things and they're not necessarily focused on that. And I think that's what makes me a winner. People know that they could come to Bombastic Classic for Dragon Ball,
as they should. I wouldn't go to anybody else. I honestly get all of my thing information from you. I see other videos, and I'm also sorry if these are your friends and people, but I'll be pressing not interested just to make sure I look at you.
And I appreciate that, truly.
Because sometimes there's like I'll see a figure, right, that you're talking about, like just around the same time, because I guess since I clicked on your video, or maybe just because you're already in my algorithm, a similar video comes out. I'm like, oh, that's bomb. Oh, that's not bomb. And then disappointment washes over me.
And I appreciate that tremendously for a fact, right?
I think it's just familiarity. Like going back to like what you were saying about the other YouTuber, I forgot his name. The dude that just get millions of views.
Oh, Penguin.
Yeah.
And so like I also like, I'm so happy that you're willing to listen to this, truthfully, because I don't have many people that's willing to listen. But that's why, like, when you have that in the living room here with me, I have you, like, I'll be like, yo, Alexis, let's watch this. Remember the Asian guy that was reviewing the Transformers or what, the robots?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo, Alexis, let's watch him. The reason why I would always be so intent on saying, Alexis, let's watch him, is because he's the only action figure reviewer I've seen on YouTube that can consistently drop 100K on a review. Consistently. Every review gets over 100K.
That's
views.
crazy.
And
we actually studied him. Like we sat there, we broke down. Like, yo,
what? Sat there and studied him, and you even said to me, like, I don't think your shit is that much different, Dave. It's just a matter of, like, you broke it down to me. You was like, all right, he's giving stuff that could appeal to like younger people, but he'll have an adult joke in there. And like you were you broke it down, like you were surgical with it, to be honest.
I don't remember half the stuff I said per usual.
But I'll say that, well, just know that you were surgical with it. But when I was really looking at it, I was like, yo, if this man could do this, why hasn't anybody else replicated it? And that, I think, maybe not something I always neglect to describe when I'm saying, hey, this is what I want to do on YouTube. That guy was like the ultimate template, because I'm like, yo, he's doing this for Transformers. Why can't I do this for Dragon Ball figures? And matter of fact, I can do it. It's just a matter of growing my audience that level. And I think that's possible by specifically, of course, looking at third party. But more than that, just being the first to have stuff out in English on YouTube, or being one of the first people. I don't necessarily have to be the first, but that would always help. But being one of the first, like I said, after the Broly thing, and to be fair, Broly is box office. Broly will always be who Broly is. My
boy Brolisha.
Broly is just you hear his name and it's like, oh, everybody ears perk up. A review for that, like, that's what I was saying. Like, yo, if only I had those same circumstances with Broly now. Man, listen. Those same circumstances where it's a Broly. So next time there's a brand new Broly figure coming out, I'll have to take the precautions of like ordering from the Japanese website just so I could get the figure earlier. Just so I could get out the review earlier. Just because I know that, I ain't gonna lie, I'm more hellified than a lot of these other people. Might be
You're more smarter than a lot of other people?
Hellified.
Okay. Explain that one to me. Explain that one to me.
So hellified is like seems to be like a Midwest Southern term.
I'm getting old.
Typically, you're a bad motherfucker.
Okay.
Now, typically, what I've heard like a lot of older brothers say is like, "You ain't no hellified nigga," like that, and it's you. But usually, it means like you're a bad motherfucker. You could do some shit that's exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, is what I got from the context. Like you're not no hellified nigga like that on the body side of the game. Meaning you ain't got all the muscles and don't got the definition like that. If I tell you that, you're not no hellified person in that regard. But a lot of other people I realize are just doing kind of what I consider to be bland review.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit. What makes them bland? Tell me.
What makes them bland?
What makes them bland?
I'll tell you this. I could sit here and just put my phone on a tripod or the phone tripod and just record me talking about the figure and not have barely any edits. But at the same time, there's a talent to that too. I had to realize that too. There's a talent to that because you grew your base over a long period of time, just straight up. Hey, this is Naruto Uzumaki. Matter of fact, what's a more recent Naruto figure that came out? Minato Namikaze top 99 figure review. As you can see, it comes with the Rasengan effect. Here's some height comparisons. I've been really looking forward to this figure. Now I do the same thing for the most part, but what I do, I separate it into categories. I got Beyonce saying, and I think I'm being clever, and for that section it's aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So aesthetic, I got Beyonce saying flawless, and it's aesthetic. I think that's clever. Hey, haha. For aesthetic, I got Beyonce talking to y'all. All right, for accessories, I got ASAP Rocky blinging his chain, or just showing off, or showing off his chain. For hit bashing, which is describable parts, I got Law, Trafalgar Law. So I think all these things are clever.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I don't have Beyonce talking. I got Marilyn Manson, and I'll say the beautiful people, the beautiful people.
Nah, I knew it was gonna be that one. Because why not?
So what you call it? I have those aspects of things where I could say, hey, this shit is different. My shit is legitimately different than what other people are putting out. I think the way my stuff is structured is more better, but also I have to be I have to humble myself in that regard. Dude said,
I like white girls more better.
Yeah, he really did. But and I said that unironically just now. But also I have to look at the viewer retention, and I always have to go back to the drawing board. Like, hey, I'm putting all this work with the editing, and the viewer retention is not necessarily reflecting that. So, but at the same time, I'll have people commenting in the comment section like, yo, I loved it. Or this, that, and the next. So I have to, it's a tricky thing to balance. I'm looking at the viewer retention, and it's like, damn, y'all barely staying on my video. And maybe for all intended purposes, the editor needs to go. But to me, that's, like I
don't think so, my boy. I'm telling you, split it up, man. At least try it out. Try it out.
What I'm saying is, what I was saying before you said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that ultimately what it really is that as you cultivate the people that you need to cultivate, because I feel like it's gonna reach a point where it's gonna be like, yo, I love your reviews or I love your videos. Where the fuck were you? Type of deal. Because I felt that way many times when I discovered certain channels where I was like, why am I now discovering this channel? And I've been legitimately like annoyed about that before. Like, yo, I would have been subscribed to this channel. Where you at? But that was when they was at 20 something thousand subscribers, and I'm just at 6,000. So I can imagine people discovering my channel and being like, "Yo, your shit is fire!" Like, "Yo, what's up?" And that alone, just building up that core fan base, could alone just send me over the edge in terms of viewer retention, where it's like, "Oh, okay, like you're fired," and then it'll snowball from there. But for all intended purposes, I have a plan. I'm happy that Nate is still very patient with me.
That's the boy. That's that guy.
I still got to knock out 3 more reviews before I go back to him talking about, let me roll some more stuff. But the thing is, I knocked out these 2 reviews extremely fast compared to what I did in the past. And truthfully, if I can knock this shit out tomorrow, at least one of these things out tomorrow, I'm gonna be good money, because these other 2 reviews should be fairly fast, because these figures don't come with nothing. Blue Eyes White Dragon don't come with nothing besides that, the blast effect. Because what else can he realistically come with? He's a dragon. So once I have him and Red Eyes Black Dragon like recorded and I put together all that stuff, I'm gonna make sure to get all this stuff back to Nate, bring out some more stuff that I want to get reviewed, and I'll take it from there. I'll have to temper my expectations in terms of reviewing stuff so late, but I don't mind that, because between reviewing stuff late and then also third-party news and things of that nature, I think I'll be fine. And then also, like I said, I should be getting paid on, what is that, Wednesday? I should be hypothetically getting paid on Wednesday, so all the stuff that Nate doesn't buy, like, for example, for the most part, Nate only buys Saiyan characters.
Yeah.
So, like, all the stuff like Kid Buu and Frieza, which is ironically some of the best work from the official company. They do the villain characters very well. And I explained why they do that, because they one-off characters. They one-off in terms of, I can't keep on reproducing this figure. So the first time that I do him, I had to do it well, because I can't sell you another Frieza figure that's in the second form, but I can sell you another base Goku figure with some updates to the sculpt, to the posability, and I could keep on doing that until eventually the fans is like, all right, you're doing too much now. And we haven't reached that point. So until then, when we reach that point, truth be told, like that Kid Buu, I'm gonna go crazy with that review. I'm gonna make sure everything is on point. I started reviewing. I started recording in 4K, knowing damn well that I only got so many times before many recordings before I record something. It's like, you don't got no memory for this.
At that point, that'll push you in your lazy butt to install that goddamn hard drive. You could ask me or Nate to pull up, and we'll help you. And you just upload everything, because I understand by now you just have your workflow on the phone, and it might just mess things up for you, having to learn something else. So that's fine. But in the meantime, you can at least offload stuff from your phone. But you could do the same with Google, like make a Google Docs, not a Google Docs, you know what I'm saying, Google Drive.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use the PC yet, do that.
But yeah, having that review in 4K, And having my personality in there, because I feel like I'm not going to even say that a lot. I even asked Nate. I was like, "Yo, Nate." There's been times I sent Nate reviews, and I've been like, "Yo, Nate, I ain't gonna lie. Tell me what you think is about his reviews in comparison to mine." And then Nate was, Nate is Nate. He keeps it 100. Yo, production quality, he got you. But other than that, that shit boring. He said, other than that, that shit boring. He's like, yo, this is what I thought, a generic white guy. He said that one time. I was like, damn, Nate.
It's kind of harsh.
Sure you don't? He said, just exactly what I thought he was gonna be. And I was like, damn. I almost wanted to. I was about to start advocating for the YouTuber.
Shit, you just started stuttering, so I know you meant it.
He said, I started stuttering?
Yeah, so I know you meant it.
Because I wanted to start advocating. I was like, you sure, Nate? Like, his review seemed like legit. And then once again, I go back to the Asian guy, right? This Asian guy, for whatever reason.
What's his name? You racial motherfucker.
Oh, Jobby the Hum.
I love that you just knew his name. It's not even like you forgot it. You just wasn't using it.
Yeah. Jobby the Hum. I can't forget his name.
Okay, continue though.
But Jobby the Hum is getting 100K views. Let me see. He put out a review that I didn't watch yet recently. And I never got a chance to, what you call it, truly look at it.
We've been streaming for an hour, my boy. This has been a nice session.
I forgot that you were streaming. I said all this. All right, fuck it.
I mean, no. At this point, this is a bomb interview.
But yeah, Jobby the Hung, like I said, as I just said, he posted this review a day ago at 104K views. Masterpiece Rhino X review. Beast Wars Transformer MP 59. So this is not even his third-party Transformers, because that's what I know him for. Third-party Transformer review. So he do third-party Transformers. I do third-party Dragon Ball, which is, once again, what added to my fuel to my fire to be like, yo, I could do the same thing he's doing, maybe even go farther beyond than that.
Yeah.
Pun intended. But just do it with Dragon Ball. Jobby the Hung is a beast. Nobody else has been able to replicate what he does. At least not yet. Not yet.
We love
some
you, Johnny.
reviews that seem like they have potential to really reach that level, but truthfully, I think I have the most identical to what he does. He focuses specifically on Transformers. I focus. Well, let me not say specifically on Transformers.
That's a niche.
He focuses specifically on Transformers and Kaiju. That's his thing. Transformers and Kaiju. I am focusing specifically on Dragon Ball. Now, I plan to review other stuff that's not Dragon Ball, but until that cool stuff comes out.
I was thinking about that today, actually, when you did drop today, right? Or was that yesterday? At this point, it's yesterday, but
I did drop a video today.
Yeah, okay. So I was thinking, is he gonna do Dragon Ball forever? Like, what if you would like to share, you could keep that close to your chest, but what's like the vision for the future
in terms of review?
Yeah.
Well, I would have to show you rather than tell you, because it's like some Wukong. It's a Sun Wukong figure, and it's this antagonist to Sun Wukong is Azure Lion, and I had to show you those figures for you to be like, you might even get hyped for the figures because you see how fire the figures look. But that's what I want to review. I also want to review some of these kind of these girls in these skimpy outfits. But the thing is, I'm thinking about having that be. I'm thinking about having that be like Patreon content, because some of these figures legit have titties out, nipples. You see the nipples and everything.
What if you upload a severely blurred version and then you link them to the Patreon?
I could do that.
You know,
I think I just rather, because I'm gonna just keep it 100. I don't feel like dealing with people that's like, oh, you're putting this behind a paywall type of deal. I just don't feel like interacting with those people at this point in time.
I was gonna say fuck them, but you can't say fuck them.
No, you're right. That is the correct way that I think to go about things. But I'm being immature, and I'm being sensitive as well. I just would rather not deal with them. So I just straight to the Patreon. Hey, I know some of these people have the reviews up on YouTube. Well, that's those people. I'm still giving you your standard reviews that you're used to seeing. I'm just saying, if you want to see the character with the titties out, the actual, and not just, hey, it just happens to be that she's not wearing a bra and they didn't paint anything. Literal titties out.
Titties!
Then what you can do is, what you call it, drop to the Patreon, and I can be a bit more raunchy and things of that nature on a Patreon in terms of the content. But that's also on a pipeline. Like, I had to work our way up to that.
You know what I was just thinking about? Okay, never mind. Okay, I just needed to listen to the stream real quick, just so I can make sure that the music wasn't overpowering us. Because imagine all this recorded footage, all this work, and we are not heard.
Well, good thing I didn't call out anybody specifically in terms of YouTuber.
I mean, honestly, you never really do, though. Like, you're not the kind of person to really, like, at least in my experience, to like just rag on somebody in particular.
Well, I won't rag on somebody in particular, but I will say, hey, for example, this guy has this many subscribers, and I peep that they don't really get that. They're not getting views proportion to how many subscribers that this person had. You got 600,000 subscribers, and you only getting 17,000 views on your videos. What's up with that? That's not even 1%.
That's a good question.
But you see, somebody could take that as like me being disrespectful, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just like, yo.
Because what if they trying to be hardest? They darndest.
I'm like, yo, like you trying, like I peep that you. It looked like you trying to grow your channel and everything of that nature. I know you one of the pioneers of this thing of action figure reviewing, but I ain't gonna hold you, my boy. You one of the pioneers, and there's no way you should at least get 50,000 every video.
You think that's because of not being consistent?
Nah, this person is very consistent. Actually.
So what do you think it could be?
Has always been very consistent. I don't know. Maybe it's possible that they bought some of these subscribers, and these people don't really. They basically got a bunch of dead subscribers.
Like YouTube promotions, or like bots, or like buying bots directly.
Side note: the rain fucked up my charger, bro.
Damn, bro.
Because my shit not charging right now. And I already had a charger that wasn't charging.
Damn, bro. Your shit about to die?
It's not about to die, but it's going to be a problem tomorrow if this shit don't charge up how it's supposed to.
Damn, bro.
Or
What
rather not tomorrow, but later today.
Is it Type C?
It is Type C.
I might be able to find you one in the crib.
I don't even want it to come to that. I just want my shit to work.
Yeah, but like if it don't, like,
let me see. Does it work on this phone? It does. No, it's blinking on and off. Oh. All right.
Let me know.
Maybe it just needs to be cleaned out or something.
Leave it in some rice.